In this video, we talk about West Coast Swing musicality. What's up, gang? It's Brian B. from West Coast Swing Online. In this video, we're going to talk about mastering musicality. So just for reference, we're doing this video live while we're kind of on semi-lockdown due to the coronavirus. So this is our virtual workshop day here, 4th of July weekend. So I hope you guys are all doing well. So talking about West Coast Swing musicality, over the years, we have taught literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of people online. Both in person for the last 20 years and over the last 5 years, a lot of people online. And we've learned that there are three basic buckets of areas of trouble for people in West Coast Swing, depending upon our levels. So what I want you to do is kind of think about, as we talk through these three things, which bucket you're in, and that's the part that you'll want to pay attention to the most and get the most value. Now, West Coast Swing musicality is one of the core components of what we do in West Coast Swing. We're very connected to the music, even though the dance inherently does not connect to the music. Swing dance and 2-beat increments doesn't connect to the accents in the music naturally, so we really have to deepen our understanding to do a couple of different things to master musicality and really connect to the music. So, and we're gonna have Megan hop in here, because a lot of you guys have watched our stuff and heard a lot of my thoughts. So we're gonna get some of Megan's thoughts as well. Heck, even Miss Emily, if she wants to hop in here and share thoughts. But here are the three areas that we find people are falling in. And usually I have a cool, I just didn't have time to make it, a cool like funnel or upside down triangle, because everyone has to pass through number one, which is timing. So probably one of the biggest struggles we have that we get from our students online is that they struggle with connecting their patterns to the music, right? So you know patterns, they work great when you practice them, and then the music comes on and the timing breaks down. So your connection to the music and the timing of the music is a big struggle. So that's probably the first one. Now, once we pass through this, people are, usually this is a newer dancer, person who's learning a lot of patterns and social dancing, but having some struggles in their social dancing. As we move along to kind of more an intermediate level, the connection to the music is the struggle. So these are people like yourself who might think, you know, hey Brian B, I've got these patterns, but I'm really struggling to connect them to the music and to make anything out of it, right? I'm on time, no problem, I'm leading and following effectively, but I'm really not feeling the music. How do I do that? That's number two. We're gonna talk about a concept called counting straight eights. That's a big key. If I were to add a big key, it'd be in stage 2, which is counting straight eights, and that's learning to count the music as you're dancing, not the patterns, and we'll explain. Number 3 is mastering the music. So at this point, your timing is good, you have no struggle social dancing, you're connecting to the music, you're counting straight eights, you understand where the accents are in the music, you're aware of them, none of that's confusing to you, none of what I've talked about so far is confusing to you, but now you're working on what do I do to those accents, right? What do I do with the major phrase accents, the 1s and 5s in the music, the major phrase changes, the minor phrase changes, the bridges, all of the details, what's the difference in dancing to blues music versus R&B or pop music, right? What are the subtle differences? How do I accent a 1 on a major phrase change in a blues song versus a pop song, right? So these are the people that are talking about mastering musicality. So before I go any further, the number one resource we have for all of this is our Ultimate Guide to Musicality. It's on version 2.0, so we've done this and redone it over the years. It is on sale 4th of July weekend. You can get that. Emily will drop the link in the description below. westcoastswingonline.com/July. We'll have all of our courses. You can get that on sale this weekend all the way till Sunday night at 7 o'clock. Because that will really walk you through, I think there's 18 or 20 videos. We were able to play music on those videos, and we really dig in deep to each of these sections. So we really share all of our best drills for timing, all of our best drills to get people through connection, and all of the best information we have to mastering the subtleties of the music. So let's talk about timing for a second. Can you share this off, and we'll hop back if we can get are we cool with the camera? So if you guys have seen a lot of my stuff, you've heard me ramble, but I thought we'd get maybe Megan's take on timing. So what are the struggles that people have with timing to the music, and how do you think about it to get people to stay on time?
Well, a lot of people can't count music to begin with. I know I had trouble with that. So learning how to find the one in a music or fives in a music, anything that's going to be like a
metronome, a place to start in, yeah.
Is going to be important. Students tend to struggle with staying on time, so kind of not being, I almost say, try to be robotic to the music at first. 1, 2, 3, and 4. A lot of people don't really get how fast the 3 and 4, like having a beat is. Halving a beat?
Halving a beat, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Can't talk. That's where people mainly get off beat, is they just are either going too slow or they're going too fast.
So there's two things we can cover here, and one thing like you said, it was listening to music, right? So early on in my dance career, I learned, and we cover this in the course, because we don't have all the computer and the music and the whiteboard and all that stuff that we were able to use, but we have a video on how to count the music. But one of the things to do when you drive around the car is just to count music, right? When the music starts, see if you can pick up the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and just keep counting. We'll cover this in the next section, counting straight eights, but just counting those eights. So you can just count the music, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can find that, right? Underneath that, in swing dancing, which West Coast swing, even though it's growing into its own version of swing, its core is in swing dancing, and in swing dancing we accent 2, 4, 6, and 8. And this comes to your point of staying on time, right? And so Megan said, I don't think people understand how to half a beat. So let's talk about triple steps and a quick little drill that you can use to connect yourself to stay on time to music. So if we spin around this way, we free up the right foot, right? And we're gonna dance a triple step. So actually, I turned this around too early. How many beats of music in a triple step, Miss Megan? How many beats of music?
2.
2 beats of music. How many steps?
3.
3 steps. 3 steps in 2 beats of music. So Miss Megan said halving a beat. So what we mean by halving a beat is, and again, we don't have the whiteboard in our course. We cover this on a whiteboard, but we face this way. When we dance our triple step, it's 2 beats of music and 3 steps. So we have 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. Do it again. Triple step. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Right there, I'm counting the steps, right? I'm not counting the music or the beat values, but I'm counting the steps. If you learned in a ballroom studio, you might have heard a triple step counted 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Sometimes. Huh. Yeah, you didn't learn in an official ballroom studio, not a stuffy one, right? So that's a good technique to understand 3 steps. Now, we have to fit that into 2 beats of music. Comes back to your halving the beat of music. So what we're doing in the first beat of music, we're putting 2 steps. Hold up 2 fingers for me. There you go. 1 beat of music, 2 steps. So this is the first beat of music, 1 and. But we've done 2 steps in 1 beat of music. So if we count that, that's where we get the 1 and, right? So this comes to Megan's halving the music. We have 1 and. Now, on our second beat of music, we have our 3rd step. Spread those fingers out. You got small fingers.
I don't have weird fingers like you.
So we do our triple step again through our left side. We have, oh, it is the right foot. I'm sorry. We have 1 and. Those are our first 2 steps and 1 beat of music. Now we have a step. So we have 1 step for 1 beat of music. If we do it again, we have 1 and 2. If we keep counting this, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So we're learning to half or create a good triple step. And to your point, they're learning how fast a triple step is. So doing that, straight triples to music, you'll have to be really good and quick and articulate with your feet to stay on time with the music. So that is number 1. I think probably the biggest drill, listening to music, right?
Can I add something to that?
Yeah, please do.
If you don't know how to find the 1, I always tell my students, usually when the person starts to sing is a 1 in the music. Also, when the chorus starts, hopefully, should be a 1. There are some weird songs that they don't start right away, but any big crescendo or whatever in the music is probably also going to be a 1.
Boom, we'll cover that next section. Phrasing of the music, understanding phrasing and major phrases and choruses, it's all.
But to learn how to count music, that helps.
Yeah. Basics, like basic stuff. So the drill is to just dance triple steps to a song. Try to dance it to something slow. Try to dance it to something fast. Try to dance it to something you kind of have a difficult time picking up the beat to. That'd be another one. And just so you can see how this stays on time, Miss Megan is going to dance. You're going to stay on that side and do sugar pushes just for the sake of this.
This?
Yeah, sugar pushes. So what's going to happen is I'm going to dance triple steps. Megan's going to dance a regular sugar push. So watch this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you watch, every 2, 4, 6, and 8 in the music is a whole beat and one step all the time. So watch this. Even though she's doing walk, walk, and I'm doing triple, 1, 2. On count 2, we're always one beat, one step. Then we do 3 and 4. 3 and 4. Count 4. One beat, one step. 5 and 6. 5 and 6. So it doesn't matter what walks and triples we're doing. 2, 4, 6, and 8 will connect you to the timing and solve the problem. Level number 1, being connected to the music and timing. Any questions relative to timing before we dig into the counting straight eights and all that jazz? Good deal. Questions, you guys, middle of the road, connecting ourselves to the music. Next, so now we've mastered our timing, right? And there's, again, counting music and all this stuff that we cover in the course, but we now have to connect to the music. So what's happening with the music?
Are we talking about straight eights?
Yeah,
okay.
Baby, yeah.
Yeah, so straight eights.
What is counting straight eights? Explain that.
I was getting there.
Okay.
You usually have 6 count and 8 count patterns that can extend into 10 count and 12 count, and they go on forever sometimes. But the music is usually done in 8 counts or 6 if you're doing waltz, but hopefully you're not doing that in West Coast swing.
Both of them behind the camera. Well, sometimes we do. I don't know. It's
all right. But counting straight eights means that you're counting with the music and not by the pattern count. So you're going to go through, if you did 4 sugar pushes, 4, that's a 3, sorry, 4 sugar pushes, you should be able to go through
go back onto the
4
one.
sets
Yeah.
of 8, I think. 3 sets of 8.
3 sets of 8. So here's what counting straight eights would be. Well, let's do our drill since we just did that. Sugar pushes for you. Triple steps for me. But instead of counting 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, I'm going to count straight eights. Ready, and 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. So if you followed my advice before in doing that triple step drill to music, and you just counted the 8s of the music, you're counting in straight 8s. You're following the 8 beats of the music. There's also, there's some exceptions to that rule that will come in section number 3, mastering the music. Musicians don't always do it that neat and simple, but as a general rule, that's what happens. So here's the drill to practice straight 8s practically in your pattern. And Ben, I can see Ben's energy is a question out there. I got you. So if we used, my favorite drill is sugar pushes. We're going to do this unconnected. But if we just did sugar pushes and counted the 8s of the music, it would look like this. 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. 1 and 2, and so on. Cool? So within that, Megan said this. Lyrically, the accents are going to typically be on 1s, followed by the 5s. Right? 1s typically, major phrase changes. We'll cover that in the next section. Followed by 5s. Sometimes on 3s or 7s, where the lyrics will kind of hit on the 1s and the 5s, and sometimes on 3s or 7s. Different songs will be different, but if I had to make a general rule, that'd be it. So the first skill we want to do is count straight 8s. Second thing we need to do is identify the 1 in the music, since that's going to be the major accent.
Which we do have a pattern that you can use for this.
Yeah, so if you guys want a,
we have another video
if
somewhere.
you YouTube West Coast Swing, Musicality to music, something like that. Ben might try to find that. We do a beginner practice set of
sugar push, sugar tuck, whip, inside turn, and a right side
and it's
pass.
in the I know where it is. It's in the course. We have a whole beginner set of patterns that you can use: pushes, passes, whips, inside turns, whips, that come back around.
All your basic patterns.
Yeah, that will help you practice your basics to the music. But here's the drill: we can count straight 8s. Now we need to identify the first major accent, the 1. And this is timing being number 1, That's where people struggle. They master that. They have all sorts of, now it's connecting to the accents in the music. The ones is the major accent. So now we do the sugar push drill. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to point on the 1. Megan hates this, but it's a great drill, isn't it?
2.
It is. So we go 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8, 1, 2, right? So as unenthusiastic as Megan was about pointing, she has demonstrated that she knows exactly where the 1 is in the music. So we have a question on this section.
Just before you move on off from this, what's the difference between rolling 8 counts and counting straight 8s?
So what's the difference between rolling 8 counts and counting straight 8s? Great question. They're two different things. So rolling count, by definition, this was, I think, probably popularized by a gal by the name of Skippy Blair, who is 4 or 5. She is probably the oldest living person who has a big history in West Coast Swing. If you want to know more about Skippy Blair, put in Skippy Blair West Coast Swing online. We did a whole section. I was able to spend a couple of days with Skippy at her house on 2 separate occasions and gain some information. We clarified one of her contributions to the dance community has been rolling count, or rolling 8s. So what that is basically, instead of thinking if we walk, let's scooch back this way, instead of walking 4 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Skippy discovered that dancers were moving their feet in a rolling action, right? So a way to count this would be and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that'd be rolling counts. You'll hear a lot of West Coast Swing teachers that have their roots further back will count that way, right? So if we did that slowly, we'd have and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So what rolling count was, and I actually misunderstood this early in my dance career, and thankfully I sat with Skippy and she set me straight, which is why the articles in our Skippy Blair section, West Coast Swing Online, Skippy Blair, literally we shared one. She gave me some of her physical articles. She has what would be construed in our world as a blog, but back in Skippy's world from the 50s and 60s on, are literally physical papers. So she has binders, what we would now be a blog or an ebook, she has in binders. We share one of those papers. And so what rolling count would be as I'm moving, it's more of a foot action than a timing. So if I started moving my foot on and, I presented my foot in front of my body on the then I would begin the weight change on the 1. Then I would move the foot and 2 and 3. This is really brilliant because even if you dance cha-cha, right? If we're dancing cha-cha, right? And let's do a quick lockstep cha-cha-cha. Very staccato feeling. But if you slowed that down in that rolling count, it would be and 1. Does that make sense? So even though it would look like a staccato movement, the rolling count would be the action of the leg and then how quickly we commit to that foot, whether it's quickly in staccato or in the case of waltz and we dance it very slow, a slow rate of weight transfer. That would be your rolling 8s, or rolling count is the kind of what Skippy would talk about. Counting straight 8s was going back to what we did. We're literally counting the music, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. But if we counted rolling 8s, it would kind of, now I'd be thinking about the leg action. And 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. Cool beans? Any other questions relating to that? I know there's a question lingering between the last video and this one was like, when do I strike the foot? So when do I strike the foot? Typically I strike the foot at the beginning of the beat. That keeps me on time, right? And this is done by dancers of all levels and all different styles. The strike of the foot being at the beginning of the beat. Now the difference is, this gets super advanced, I like it. The difference is, what am I trying to show in my dancing, right? So let's on one side, imagine Latin dancing, cha-cha, staccato. West Coast being somewhere in the middle, waltz, ballroom dances being on the other side, right? So if I took a walking step in cha-cha, right, the leg action would be the same, and then I'm gonna quickly commit to that foot. So when you watch it live, you almost wouldn't see any rolling action of my body, right? It would look very staccato, pop, right? But now what am I doing with the rest of the music, right? I'm early on the beat, 1, right? 1. And in cha-cha, on the rest of the beat, and I'm using my body action over the foot, and 1. So the foot strike, always beginning of the beat. In cha-cha or Latin dance, it's staccato, right? I'm over the top of it quickly. All the Latin coaches, get over your foot, get over your foot. How many people have done this? Do the drill. And they go, yeah, get over your foot. Get over your foot. So she's on top of it.
Okay, enough of that.
Fast, right? Now I always say West Coast swing and cha-cha are the same, and people go, Brian B., you're crazy. But having a ballroom dance background as well, the actions are very similar. The difference is how I express them, right? So let's say Megan takes a toe lead forward in West Coast, right? But in West Coast, go ahead and take this step. She wants to she slowly moves through that foot, right? If you think about this connected, the foot, look at us in Latin dancing, we're already super, right? But the foot's ready, and we're gonna slowly transfer onto that. Especially with the style of music we have nowadays, we're slowly transferring onto that, right? That'd be more West Coast swing. And then the further example would be like waltz. So the analogy that I like to use is the difference between a percussion instrument, right? That'd be my cha-cha, right? Where I have, and the rest of that noise is my body. Cool? On the far other side would be like a wind instrument, right? I never played a wind instrument. I couldn't figure it out. Probably why my cha-cha is better than my waltz.
Hey.
Right? So in a wind instrument, you're putting all the effort in, but the sound comes out much later. So even though the foot strike is early on the beat, the rate transfer is much slower during the beat. It's also slower music as well. Cool? Hopefully that answered the question. So as we get into the final level of mastering musicality, we need to know all this other stuff, right? And I think mastering musicality includes 2 different directions. All of this musicality stuff up to including phrasing. So if you can count, I wish I had my whiteboard, count phrases of music. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, draw an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a second 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a third one, and a fourth one. That's 4 sets of 8s, that's 32 beats. That's typically a phrase, right? And it's different typically blues music to modern music, but understanding those phrase changes, understanding the subtleties within those. So in mastering the musicality, you have to understand timing, did that a long time ago. Counting straight 8s, got that down, social dancing. Now you're building your skills of weight transfer, which starts to look to styling and rolling through the feet, all that different type of stuff. And now you're identifying 8s, right? You've already done this. On the 3rd level, you've already done this. 7, 8, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You've got that down, right? But now if I did those same types of movements, how would I approach them depending upon the style of music? How would I approach it if a 1 is a major phrase change? Major phrase change. 7, 8, 0, 1, major phrase change, right? Versus a more subtle, maybe not on a major phrase change, but 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So to master that, you have to listen to a ton of music. I like to map the music. We do a whole drill with this with a couple of different songs, and we do songs that are easy to map and hard to map. But writing out those, can I steal that board real quick? Can you grab that board for me?
Yes.
We'll make sure that if you guys cozy the camera up, just so they get a little. So that would be, can you see the bottom of this board as well? Yes. So if I counted the music, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But then the music might go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it might pick up with another set of 16, and then it might go back to 8s. So in mastering musicality, I not only have to understand the basic phrasing of sets of 8s and counting straight 8s, but I also have to understand when the phrases change, and in this case, when it's a 4-beat weird tag, and when there's maybe just a 16-beat minor phrase, right? And then if I look at a set of 8, what's going on in that set of 8, right? Is this set of 8 here the same as this set of 8 here, and this one feels like this one. So as I'm dancing, I can predict that this set of 8 has one feel, and this set of 8 has a different feel. And so as I go through the song, I can continually go in and out of the music. So that's why you'll see, spoiler alert, the people who are best at this, Ben's laughing at me. Spoiler alert, the people who are best at this listen to a ton of music. If you guys know Ben Morris and these guys who are just brilliant, who's that?
Robert.
And Robert Royston, they listen to Robert Royston's just, he's a genius, he doesn't count. Some people are just really good at it, but a lot of the people that you would think of as super talented just physically listen to a lot of music and have done it a long time. So this becomes secondary, and the spoiler alert is this. They've listened to so much music, they do know the songs really, really, really well. So their ability to connect their techniques and their styling and everything happens really good. So this is a very deep section, takes a long time. This is tricky and difficult. I think this is where most people are stuck, right? Because we're all beginners. Some of us get here, very few become the Robert Roystons and the Bens of the world. So this takes a lot of time because there's so many different areas that you can dig into. So we did this whole course, I feel like a sales pitch, but it is the best resource we've done that walks through each step of this process, 18 or 20 videos. It's our ultimate guide to musicality. It does, people have asked, does it have music? It does have music. We dubbed in music, some really cool songs. So regardless of which bucket you're in, we've got a lot of cool stuff, drills that you can do. Does not require a partner. Maybe some of this stuff at some level does, but the understanding of these concepts does not. So you can grab that, westcoastswingonline.com/July. And Ben is the voice. So we'll see you guys in a few minutes for the Q&A.